got 10 seconds.
Okay, welcome. I'm trying to stick to time. Oh, very timely.
And who is that beside you
Where?
with the beads?
Oh, that was recorded in.
The
This
little
chant
statue
was
there.
recorded.
The little statue, Ruby.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
That Sai Baba statue.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, he lived in 1900s. It's not that long ago.
Okay.
And he just roamed from one place to another. So fakir meaning that he didn't have anything, he didn't own anything, but he actually he owned the divine in a sense, that God's grace was upon him. So he just along his ways, as and when healed, moved around like Christ, you know.
Because you talk about him in your quote.
And now, but after this, after his death, he didn't have that many disciples. And it's kind of a strange phenomena that after death, you get to be very well known somehow. Some of the people. So,
Like some of the famous artists.
say famous artists, yeah, exactly. So now, after he's gone, there's so many temples that it's just crazy. You know, so many temples of Shirdi Sai Baba. So, and everywhere, and people seem to go there to ask for blessings and ask for things, whatever, strength. And they seem to be very happy with how he's giving things to them. Yeah. So it's very popular, and people have a lot of faith in that. Yeah. So there's a whole worship now, also his temples, and which are almost in every part of India right now. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah. So.
Oh, it looks like somebody's coming. Oh, I think that's.
It's a rainy day, so
Yeah.
it's a bit, yeah, slowly coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so trickling in. Yeah, lovely. Okay. So did you guys read my post from last time? It was about healing chants. And if you haven't, it's okay. You know, I won't be offended. So.
Read it, listened to
The chants, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. So it's almost my 24th anniversary since I became enlightened to myself and awakened to this energy. So I wanted to do something special, and it's not just wanting to do something special. This just spontaneously came that I'm going to talk about coming home. And it's a 360 degree, so just do a 360 degree. What does that mean? And I kept thinking of it myself too. So we'll start with that, and it's about, it doesn't matter what we call ourselves, consciousness or any other name or whatever that is. But we start from the physical, and it's quite interesting that the physical has not somehow been talked about in spiritual terms in a lot of texts. And it's almost like, oh, this is just the body. Don't follow the body urges. Don't follow the body feeling. It's just there. It's just a vehicle. It's the vehicle. Okay. But in my journey and experience, the vehicle in itself was the stand, the place, the destination. And that's what I discovered, of course, in the beginning, but it took a long time to come back to that discovery. So, because if you look at it, why would we talk about a soul if you didn't have a physical body? When I say physical, I don't mean just the body. I'm talking about the physical manifest. So why would we need guides? Why would we need to know about the soul? Why would we want to know what ego is? Why do we need to know anything? Right? Why do we need more power? It's only because we're in the physical. So the physical actually is not just the starting point. It is the means and it is the end. Because consciousness, when it is embodied in the physical fully, completely, that is when we are fully present. So present is not time, but it is basically when consciousness is back in the physical. So it's very interesting. We all start, I won't even go to any other thing, just this life. When we start our journey, if you look at a baby, the baby doesn't have a sense of I. It takes a while. So first senses that are working is the power, the sense to hear, the ability to hear, right? Sounds. It picks up sounds. It can pick up, then it starts to see things, and it doesn't identify. It cannot understand. A baby's need is not to know. It just responds to sounds. It responds to visions. If you move something, it'll move with your hand or something. So it's quite interesting. So it has no concept at that time, no understanding that it is separate, it is new, or what it is, right? But as the baby develops, as the senses become stronger, first thing is appearance. It starts to see things, okay? And appearance in the sense that it gets to, as it develops, find out that there's a sense of I, that something is seeing. And how does a sense of I come in? Because it starts to see other objects and people and starts to recognize that it's not the child. Still doesn't have that awareness that it's not me, but it looks at different things and responds differently. So when it responds to different people differently, different things, it develops the sense of I is slowly developing. Not I am yet, but just the sense of I is becoming stronger. But as you go from appearances, from sounds, there comes a time when 5 years, 6 years, there's almost a belief system. And this is a pattern that's taught and learned behavior, basically. So the young child actually now has a belief system, how to do things or what not to do, or maybe what to do. Just simple beliefs like that, simple sense, simple ethics like that. So, and in that it starts to now definitely has very strong sense, I am this, I can do this, I cannot do that. All of a sudden there's ethics associated, a mind associated with the I, with the presence, right? So before it was just a living presence, then it becomes like a personal I presence at some point. Gradually, this is just everybody's story, every human being's story. And when it does that, sooner or later, it will get into the mind. It'll get into, and again, not just the sounds, it'll get into what is shown to it, it'll get into the belief systems, it develops a belief system. Once the belief system is developed, that this is right, this is wrong, I can do this, it's the operative system, basically, a functional system at that point. Now the I is very strong. So if you look at our human journey, where does it start? It's because it started because we are in the physical. So it started with the physical, then it becomes mental. Everything in the world that you experience is through your own mind then. So even though you are moving, you are acting, you're still living a full active physical life, but you're doing it through your mind. I will go there, I will return, I will come back, I will earn that, I will get into relationship. So you see how the focus is through the I, the mind, entire focus. Meantime, it's still living physically fully. The body functions are working, operating, it's doing everything, walking, creating things, all of that. So the journey actually starts, for some people it's restlessness, a lot of restlessness. They don't get what they want, or they just have restlessness. They're not happy where they are in life. So they start to seek. So the journey, all journey basically it's not a spiritual journey. I'll show you how it starts. It's a journey of the mind. It's a journey of emotions. It's a journey through the I. The vehicle is I am, and then a journey through that. So every experience is through that. So, and of course we collect memory and we collect more data per se, and we become stronger in our belief systems. So when we start to, through restlessness, do the seeking, it's mostly, like I said, it's through restlessness. Some just are born probably to be enlightened very early. They don't go, they may have restlessness, but they quickly tune into something bigger. That is there something, curiosity.
Yeah.
Okay? Curiosity comes in, that I want to experience that. I want to see if that can work. Scientist does that too, you know. So anybody like that will go that way. But it's usually restlessness. Now, as we journey and we continue, this journey is fascinating. It could take many, many years, because it's not like we are looking for realization. The journey is just the journey in itself. So it's just experience, then experience, then experience, and all through the mind, all through the mind. Then there comes a time that maybe some people are inclined, or they have a need, they have a dire need to get to some place that they feel they can't reach themselves. Then steps in God, the divine consciousness, whatever we call it. But again, we only know it through our mind. If you didn't have the sense of I, you wouldn't know what God is. It could just be a spoon, a river, or a tree, or a dog, or whatever, right? You wouldn't know the difference. So again, when we start to seek the soul, is there something bigger? Is there something out there that can help me? We look for guides, whatever we start to go soulfully. So it's not again a soulful journey. Most of the journey and most of the people, it's a mental journey trying to work the spirit in their favor. Does that make sense? So
you mean to say we work out with our own thoughts?
Yeah, just your own mind, trying to see if there's advantage in knowing the soul. If I do deeper meditation, deeper prayers, can I get more prayers answered? So there's always an outcome we are looking for, because our journey started with restlessness, sometimes a need. We go towards the soul, we go towards God because of that. So again, there's very few souls who will naturally just be inclined and have that curiosity, that why is the space like this? Where am I getting the breath? You know, it's not just science, it's what is the creator? Who is the creator of me? So what is the absolute? Whatever that means to them.
The questions of like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Right?
Right away it can come that this is not making sense. You know, it's why.
It's a crazy world.
Am I crazy? Is the world crazy? Is it supposed to be like that? If it is, why is there so much restlessness? Why are people so unhappy? So these are the questions that come in. So now you see, when we're even saying that we are in the spiritual realm, we are actually traveling through the mind, a certain part of consciousness. Okay. So there we get to see, yes, we can actually understand that all the souls maybe come from one place. Maybe there's a reason also for being different, right? So we get to these concepts of oneness, of uniformity, of just connectedness, and all these words come in, but seldom those meditative states we can feel this, right? But then when you come down or open your eyes, it's a big difference, and you can't embody that information. It doesn't become knowledge. Then the fight starts again, of the mind again. So it's really interesting, because we've traveled through the mind. Now our only vehicle may be the mind anyways, right? But I'm talking about focus. Mind is a tool. I'm talking about we had one-pointed, one-sided, or one-limit journey. That's what I was talking about. So when we coming home, and it's quite interesting what happens when you spiritualize, you materialize yourself, self-realization, enlightenment, divine consciousness, whatever that word is to you. You realize that, you understand that, yes, there is a difference, because consciousness creates differently. Also, you understand that you can have a fight and a problem, and that's part of the story also. So you understand, you stop fighting with the fights that you've had. You stop fighting. When that happens, we say that the person has come back into the physical, full and complete. right? So full and complete. Am I making sense? Yeah? Okay. So it's a 360 degree usually. It's actually kind of, one can say 180 degree, but because you're somewhere there and you're just coming to this. But in spiritual or terms, or we can call it 360, take a full turnaround. Now, when we do that, it's quite interesting, even the journey. And I wrote about certain chants. I wrote about the potency, of even prayer. So if you look at it, I always compare it, and that's how I see it, that it is like dry matches and wet matches. So when the matches are dry, you can light a fire very quickly, and it's a big flame, and you can see things, you can cook with it, you can heat up whatever else you can do with that. But if a match is wet, you're not going to have a fire. That means on a journey, even coming home, even where you are, you will not be able to see yourself because you lack that light or you lack that fullness. So the matches have to be dry. So in order for matches to be dry, sometimes we have either prayers or we have deep meditations to become that dry match. So when we create a sound, when we create an intention, when we open our eyes, we are awake and the world opens up with us. So does it make sense? Yeah. So chants are really powerful, and this is our vehicle basically to come back to. Again, how does a dry match remain dry? It's very simple. It's love and devotion. There's nothing else that I've ever learned. It's self-love. It's love for whatever. Just purity of love. And then being devoted to your own cause, not just my life, but to me as a divine soul, as whatever. And then, of course, it spreads, it transmits to everybody else. So it's always through that. So all chanting usually, and the healing chants just create healing because there is so much love and emotion. And it's one syllable sometimes, it's one sound sometimes. But when we do it with that deep love and that deep devotion, it becomes the driest match and it lights up. And then instantly either we have revelations or recognition comes in, right? So 360 degrees also is a way to come back home, like I said, to the manifest full circle. Now that you will have a fight, you could be in litigation, but you don't have a fight. If you're going through anxiety, you're not stressed about the anxiety. There seems to be very ease about being able to do anything that is possible and that you need to do. Another thing, when you come back 360 degrees, it's really simple. The words that'll resonate are life. You're coming back to full life. You're coming back to living, and you're coming back to full-on action. When we are traveling through the mind, or when our focus is more mental, we're quite selective, we're quite biased, we're quite prejudiced. We don't always take action. We're very selective. So we put ourselves, a lot of ourselves, on hold at that time. Make sense? Yeah? We don't do it. You want to talk to someone, all of a sudden you don't think the person would respond. You don't think the person would love you back. So you don't say, I love you. So there's always this hold back. But when you come into this 360 degrees, it's like, fuck the world. I'm here. It's my opportunity. And I know I have limited time here, even though I'm eternal, but I am temporary. I am impermanent on this planet. So you start to cherish all those moments and you start to do everything full on action. And anybody will tell you, when it is full-on action, full-on activity, just like your body, you're listening to me, and your body is doing 10,000 things right now. Purifying the blood, creating the blood, sending it to the heart, the liver is the cells that are not needed are being destroyed. New ones are being born. Hair is growing, nails are growing as I am talking to you, and you're listening. And you're really not doing anything, just your focus is on listening. And the body is doing its full-on active body. And that's how life becomes. It starts to mimic that kind of activity. So you just go from activity to activity to activity. Now you're sleeping, now you're crying, now you're happy, now you're talking, now you're eating, now maybe you're not sick, or you're sick, whatever. So it's now. Does it make sense? Yeah. So how does you relate to the message? Yeah? Okay. Sylvia?
I have to kind of
Think about it.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a bit confused.
Yeah. Well, good thing is it's on Facebook, so you can always watch it again. Yeah. So should we, today's session, we'll be meditating, of course, and I'll take you through various meditations and techniques, and I'll do the chants, and sometimes together we will do the chants. So I will just ask you to actually repeat with me. So we will repeat for a time, then we'll go into dead silence again, and then we may repeat something, and then we may go into dead silence. So I'll guide you along. There's a very beautiful chant which I do when I feel this deep love for God or divine, or and it's a Hindi. It's just a few lines, but the words are "Majhi meri kismat ke, tu chahe jahan le chal." That's all.
What?
So Majhi is the. You got that one. So Majhi literally would mean a boatman that take me wherever I need to be. But it's not. In this case, it's divine consciousness. It's God. It's the ultimate surrender to yourself. And whatever you feel that power is, that I am here and I am now. So let us go wherever you want, wherever I need to be. So it's a very, very beautiful, touching chant. I'll do that later. We'll see how it rolls.